Hello everyone, and how are we doing today? So a little change to the schedule. I moved the city skylines stream to put in a bit of space for some more Stardew Valley Expanded modding. So part of the reason I put in the title is that I had my first COVID-19 vaccination today. Whoa! So I thought I better have a nice, chill, relaxing game stream so that I wouldn't have to worry too much. And if I somehow manage to get some really bad side effects while on stream, well, this is probably one of the absolute chillest games I could choose to do so. So, shall we get started then? So one thing that I do have is Stardew Valley Expanded, and I had a couple of people in the last stream that were very interested in seeing that, or seeing a map tour of that. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get my version of Stardew Valley actually... Oh, okay, let me rephrase that. I have an issue where I basically can't go into Sap Forest. The game basically just hangs on a loading screen for me. So I have tried having a look at some options to resolve that. There is nothing for the moment, unfortunately. So for now, I think I will load into our game and get progressing. So let me just check SVE. Is that... no, that is not the correct one for... let me just bring up stream elements and remember which command it was. Okay, so I had it almost SDVE odds. There we go. That's the one I wanted, so that has a paste bin link for all of the mods that I have running in the game. So, and we will go in and notice that I do have a second game file, which I have just been using to pretty much play the game as is. So let's just wait for that to load up properly, and there we go. So we are the second one of this positron, and we are on day 14 of spring year 1. So let's load into that and get started. So where we left off, we had just finished the flower dance ceremony, and I had done a bit of a surge towards getting to that point, playing a bit beyond my scheduled couple of hours, but we can get going on that. So let's just wait for this to load in, as it will take a moment, and we can see... so the weather, partly cloudy with a light breeze, which basically means no rain. Spirits are somewhat annoyed, and our Queen of Sauce recipe is coleslaw. So fresh cabbage tossed with a little vinegar and mayonnaise. So we do need to save up for a house upgrade so we can get our kitchen. Our only bit of mail for today is just something telling us that we have another potted flower recipe, and look at this, some of our fruit is now ready to harvest. So we get some nice strawberries, lingonberries and passion fruit. So probably needless to say, but the lingonberries and passion fruit are from a mod that adds in additional crops and options. And here we have some of the more standard Stardew Valley crops, which are, let's see, so parsnips, cauliflower, green beans, and... okay, thought we had some potatoes available, but let's have a look. Okay, we don't have the craft we only have the crafts room unlocked in the community centre, so if I have grown a potato, I'm just hoping that it is available in the chest, waiting for us to put it in the correct community bundle. So I believe we did that last time, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, we will continue on with watering all of our plants here, and seeing as we have a, well, not a bad luck day, but the spirits are a bit miffed, so we're not going to have good progress in the mines. So we want to either turn our attention to doing some fishing, or we want to turn our attention to potentially clearing out the farm a bit. And yes, indeed, we do have one potato, one regular parsnip, and one gold star parsnip waiting for us. So what are we missing in the community centre bundle for the spring foraging bundle? So we are missing leeks. Didn't I put those in last time? I swear we did. Or did I just put it in? Yes, okay, we just put it in our storage box inside the house, and you can see here we have a few other items that we have collated that we can put in the community centre bundles when we are done with those. So for now we can put some of the tree seeds away, and then we want, okay, yep, one cauliflower, one leek. We can sell all of these as we go by Pierre's, though we also will probably need to remember to head down to see the travelling merchant and make sure whether she's got anything interesting for us. We have one omni geode, 3 regular geodes, a few fish items which I think I will leave for the moment because I'm not sure that one will actually be open just yet for us, but we can take a parsnip and the potato. So we can unlock those bits of the bundle, and then we will just need to wait for a green bean to be available. So it is Wednesday, a midweek hump. How is everyone managing with that? Like I said earlier, I had my first COVID vaccination today, and that went pretty well. Went over during my lunch break. Things are a bit chaotic and hectic because it was not necessarily a last minute call, but I did get a text message through from the clinic last week saying that they were going to have an excess of the Pfizer vaccine, so if we wanted to book in an appointment we could do so and we would get vaccinated with our first dose. So let's see what the travelling merchant has for us. So we could grab a tomato for the summer bundle, but that is something that we can easily access and grow ourselves anyway, so that doesn't matter. A large egg, however, is something else. We need one of those for the animal bundle. If we had 5,000 gold, we could get an iridium bar, though I don't quite know what that would be useful for. I'm pretty sure there's some things that we can craft that will require 1 iridium bar, but the other items are probably going to be similarly out of reach, so we will ignore that. We do have some garlic seeds and a regular garlic, so we could actually take both of those and store that garlic available until we get a seed maker potentially. Yes, I think I would do that, so we'll buy the garlic and the garlic seeds, and that gives us 227 gold. So we will quickly head back home and plant that new little garlic seed, swing by Pierre's to sell off some of our foods that we have harvested, and then I think probably come back, oh no, not come back to the farm, go up to the community centre, put in a couple of items into the bundles, see which new ones get unlocked, and then we can use that to decide where we go from there. So garlic in spring, plant that one down, and then we can come back up here, put a few things in inventory including that garlic, dump the fibres that we just got from cutting some grass down, and head over to Pierre's. So we have also a few tree seeds kind of littering the way, so I will dig those out when I see them. And let's see if we actually have any interesting artifact spots or forageables around for us. Of course, after spending so long last stream trying to look for a wild leek, I'm just expecting dozens of them to turn up now in the second half of the season just to taunt and mock me for what has been going on. Just because I feel like the game's kind of that kind of, not annoyance, but it's just going to be sod's law pretty much. So 600, 900, 1200. Okay, near enough 1600 for all of that. We are 14 days into the season, so we could buy a couple more things if we really wanted to. So let's scroll down to the new items. Okay, obviously, I was going to say, obviously not the chayote seeds. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, because those will take 13 days to mature. They keep producing after the first harvest, and they are available in summer as well. But for now, I don't think there's too much on that. And I would probably rather save up our money and get a few more strawberry seeds and make sure we actually save some of them for next year. But is there anything else that actually goes across spring and summer? It doesn't look like it. Spinach is available in spring or fall. And okay, we have rose, which keeps producing after the first harvest, takes 12 days and grows all throughout spring, summer and fall. Then obviously the standard spring rose. Then we are down into various cooking accessories and extract options. We could go for some stevia, but I want to kind of keep that for when we actually are able to do some stevia extract, which we can see up here. And then we can start getting some sodas made. So sesame seeds, that is an item to buy. So yeah, basically it pretty much looks like any ones that really grow through spring and summer tends to be more of the flowers. Though however, we do have some beef vine, bison, chicken, mutton, rabbit, venison or wild boar seeds we could get, but I think seeing as those meats, most of them need to, at least in previous ones I've seen, needed to be cooked to be of use, and cooking them required quite a few different like spices and ingredients. I think for now at least we will leave that be. Okay, so into the community centre we go. So let's have a look around here. We can finally complete that spring forage bundle with our lovely leek there. So we get items, which is 30 spring seeds, which I am just going to be putting in our box. And there we go. We have a couple of other bundles popping up to be available. So that is the kitchen one, and coming across here for the fish tank. So we could have actually brought some of our fish along, but never mind, we will do that at a later date. We're not in too much of a rush. But our spring crop bundle, we can put our 3 items down in here, and we can also put a large egg into the animal bundle here. So I am trying to think of what we want to do first in terms of animals. Do we want chicken coops and try and upgrade that so we can get ducks and a large egg, or do we want to go for the barn option and bring in some cows and goats and hope that we're able to save up and get a sheep for some wool before winter sets in? Because while I don't mind not completing the community centre entirely in the first year, I do like to try having the kitchen one, the one that we just looked at, completed so that we have a greenhouse for overwinter. So let's just water those 2 that I managed to miss. We'll go up here and refill our watering can. And then we will make sure that we have enough food to sustain us while we go ahead and start clearing out some more forest areas. Okay, so we actually had some seeds in this one as well. Obviously we want to collate them a bit nicer than that. So we will look at that. We will grab the ones that are in here, which are all the way up here. We will also grab our spring onions and field snacks. We will ignore the eggplant parmesan because we want to keep that for when we go mining. Is there anything else we probably want from that? Doesn't look like it. So we will go down and start clearing some space. And obviously I am also going to be keeping an eye on where we have some potential tree seeds around, so we can clear those out and hopefully get a tiny bit of free energy. Though I'm going to go back and get the scythe just so we can start clearing out some of these weeds. And speaking of weeds, of course we probably need to be looking at going to get ourselves a silo. So let's just remind myself how much that costs us. So I know it requires clay, so we need 100 stone. Let's see, we have, yep, 315, 10 clay. Unfortunately we only have 6, and 5 copper bars, which we just about have. So unfortunately we'd need to dig up a bit more clay to be able to do that. So we will just keep that in mind and see if we can get that done sooner rather than later. Because obviously, even though we have such a large farm and we have loads of grass growing, it's still going to be something that we want to keep in mind to have, so that we're not just cutting down all of this grass and wasting it, but instead we are getting some hay out of it for animals in the future. Because annoyingly, despite what the game says about like building your first coop and getting a chicken, you really want a silo first, so you can actually store all of the hay that you are digging up, or not digging up, hay that you are like creating from cutting down the grass, and you don't have to worry about going to Marnie and seeing that she's not available in her shop that day and buying hay from her at, oh, I was going to say a ridiculous markup. I'm not 100% sure how much of a markup it is, but I know, like, after the first time I did that, it's kind of like, yeah, this is just too expensive to bother with unless you happen to just have an excess amount of money. So building a silo and getting that filled up first is what we will do instead. So with a mind to that, I'm going to probably be clearing out this area and setting up our tree sapper sections. Unfortunately, I don't have any of my tools upgraded, so we can't get rid of the large logs that are here, which is slightly frustrating, slightly annoying. We are down to about half our energy, which looks okay, and we will just clear this area, use some of our seeds to put down where the trees are going to be in nice rows, and then we will just leave that to grow and mature for the time being. And I'm hoping to be able to do it somewhat sensibly, so we can actually have things mostly occurring at the same time, so I can kind of come down here every few days, sweep through, collect all of the sap and whatnot from the trees, and then just do it again when it's needed the next few days after that. So we are a bit low on maple seeds, but there are thankfully a few maple trees around here, so hopefully we will be able to have enough to plant down some, as well as make a few more into field snacks if we need to do that. But regardless, I can see what is potentially either some pine cones or maple seeds down below. So we will go and gather those if we need to. In the meantime, we are a bit low on energy, so we will fill ourselves up on the couple of snacks that we do have. And then take a trip down to, oops, I'm going to say get the right tool to actually dig that out. To dig out these seeds, so pine cone, as I thought it might be, an acorn there, and this one, yeah, okay, another pine cone, but we will dig them up regardless because we are going to need at least some of these in the near future, and just take a quick visual look around. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any obvious ones that I can see there. So, yep, creating some more field snacks it is. We will do 3. Eat those. And then I think probably clear out the leftmost section because we have done almost all of that already. Put down the 3 maple seeds that we have left, and then we can focus on getting some other seeds down. Or we may be lucky and that this one has a fair few seeds to drop for us. Let's see. Oh, yep. Okay, that did give us 2 seeds, so that's nice. Clear out the rocks as well because we don't want those interfering in our nice little area. Okay, that's done. And clear out this oak tree while we are at it. So 5 maple seeds should be more than enough for us to at least start with, so we will do that, and we will start there. 1, 2. Actually no, we probably want to do it with a 1 gap in between, like that, and there. And then come down here and chop down the pine tree so we can do our row of acorns and oak trees here. And I think I will probably leave enough space so that we can get a second layer in. So if we put 1 down there just for guidance, and then we can do 1, 3, 4 and 5. And then I think we will, yes, we will do another one. So that is 2 across, 3, 4 and 5. And get down our last pine trees and do once again the same thing. And this should hopefully mean that we don't need to create any more field snacks because we are obviously pretty much out of maple seeds. But we will do... Okay, that is annoying because the first row of pine trees is right in where that big log is, so we unfortunately can't quite put a row there, but well, we can't put it up at the top, but we can do some of the other ones down below, and like before we can do a second row of pine trees and make sure that those are all set up and ready to grow. So we have our last tree to chop down. Is 10:20. Yeah, we're gonna have plenty of time and a decent amount of energy left, but I don't think I will bother going through and making any kind of attempt to dig up any more seeds because that will just not be worthwhile. So again, that is a gap of 2, so that will be going there. And number 5 is there, so that is going to be our Sap Farm when those trees are all grown up. So we'll have to make sure, what do tappers require? Have we actually even unlocked them yet? It doesn't look like. Okay, but I'm pretty sure it is wood and copper bars. And we will have a look. Do we have anything worthwhile? Not really. So we will just store all of this back into their respective areas and get back to bed for the night. Okay, so there we go, that's all there. We do have 10 mixed seeds, which I am probably going to save for next season, because the odds are quite a few of those will actually be corn seeds, which are a double season crop from the vanilla game. So we did level up our farming, so we can now craft a bee house. We can craft some speed grow and also some farmer's lunch. And there we go, there's the tapper recipe, along with a couple of modded items. So let's just take a quick peek. Yep, 40 wood and 2 copper bars, so we are absolutely fine on that. And then the speed grow requires pine tar and clam. So this is why we decided to start putting together those tappers, or trees for tappers anyway, and we have 1 lone clam available. So because we have unlocked the fish bundle, we can now go and put a few things into that. Like for instance, okay, which bundle do we have unlocked that requires the red mushroom? Oh wait, that's probably the the exotic. Yes, the exotic foraging bundle. So we could go and do that one. So actually, yes, let's take a trip down to where the community centre is, because we obviously have quite a lot of fish, as you can see here. The chub we are going to need to keep for the bulletin board bundle, but we can take all of these instead. And of course, don't forget to check the TV for tomorrow's weather, which is going to be a beautiful sunny day. Fortune, good humour, so we could go down to the mines. And it is salmon berry season. So salmon berries worth basically nothing, but they do have the advantage that they are a good, quick, easy source of energy in the early game. So pretty much, at least for me, by the time I use up all of the spring onions from earlier in the season, salmon berry season is here, and if I get particularly lucky on that, by the time blackberry season comes around in the autumn, I'm only just running out of the salmon berries. So what else? A poppy and fried egg we need for a community centre bundle, as does an aquamarine. We have 3 flounders where we could start putting together a fish pond if we wanted to do so, though I don't think we necessarily have the no, we don't have the seaweed or the algae to do that, but never mind. So another potted flower recipe, some brown sugar, and a letter from Evelyn saying, oh, by the way, some plants only grow in 1 season. Okay, did I? Okay, yes, I completely misspoke when I said about the strawberry plants, because I can see down there we have a bunch of them. So yes, the strawberry plants do pop up in the egg festival, not later in the season as I was thinking. So we do have essentially almost 2,000 gold that is quote unquote free. So we'll have to have a think about what we are going to do, because are we going to buy us our new fishing rod, or are we going to save it for a chicken coop or barn, something of the like? Or are we going to use it to potentially upgrade our weapons in the Adventurers Guild for going down the mines? We'll have to wait and see. So let's have a look at all of this. Actually, thinking about it, I may decide to upgrade our watering can at the earliest opportunity. Unfortunately, we will need to wait for a rainy day on that, but we have the money, we have the copper bars. Speaking of that, let's actually put some in the furnace, and while that is going, we will take our trip up to our farm quarry and dig out a few things there so we can just see what's around. So there we go, and pretty much the same as before, just standard rocks, standard copper, as I think. Yeah, okay, yep. We've reached level 40 of the mines at least, but not really any further, so we haven't seen any iron or gold spawn, but we will probably continue doing that. And I just clear out a few areas. Is there anything interesting there? There is 1 geode, so we will just crack that and get that and store it, and probably the same with these 2 geodes that I can see here. Yep, that is the only ones we have. There's no point going for that artifact spot because they are a bit bugged on this farm map. They just show nothing. So I don't bother obviously digging them up because it's not going to show us anything of interest. But anyway, we have done that. We have one of the copper bars ready, so we can put that in, and I think, yeah, so move those items back in, put the ores, or stock them in here where the other ones are, as well as the scythe and our watering can. Everything else is probably going to be going to the community centre, so let's head over to Pierre's and we can start selling a few things and then go caving. And one thing I also do wonder is, has anyone here actually ever gone caving themselves? Because I have a funny story from my university days. So back then I was ridiculously shy and awkward, and I walked in to like the university social clubs section that had been set up, and walked in and almost immediately got stopped by someone, and I swear she pretty much went, "Are you interested in?" and then went silent because I did not hear the next word that she said. And so, not wanting to seem rude or anything, bearing in mind, like I said, very awkward, I said, "Oh, I might be." So she took me over to a sign-up sheet, and it was only there that I actually read what I was apparently signing up for, and it was caving. So, I can't swim. I cannot swim at all, which is a major issue when it comes to diving in caves full of water. Needless to say, when they came a-calling and asking if I was actually genuinely interested in it, I just refused to answer. I did not want to go caving. Mind you, I was also asked if I wanted to be a cheerleader. And that was also an interesting thing because I pretty much, like, she asked me and I looked at her and I just went, no, because I'm not the cool popular girl. I'm geeky and nerdy, and I would so not have been a cheerleader at all. Admittedly, thinking back, I do feel a little, not guilty about that, but maybe feeling a little left out. Though considering that, at least in the United States, more people report injuries from doing cheerleader actions than they do American football, so, you know, swings and roundabouts. So anyway, we've completed our spring harvestable bundle, and we can go across here and put some fish into one of these fish bundles. So we have a few items for the crab pot. I don't think this is going to be enough to fill it up. It would have been if we had brought the clam along with us, but never mind. We might get lucky and find a crab in the mines. And then we have with a fish bundle, do we have any of those? Nope. We do have the pufferfish for the speciality fish. Night fishing, nope. Lake fishing, that's where the carp lives. And then we have ocean fish. Okay, and I also forgot to put the yam in the autumn harvestables. Not that it matters too much, as that is a year one crop anyway, so we can buy the seeds for that and grow it with no issue. But seeing as I took the effort of lugging it all the way over here, we will put it in the bundle. So continue on, and we will obviously keep an eye out for some forageables like that. Even though the daffodils don't give you any energy, we will still pick them up for the small amount of experience they give, and also the small amount of money that they will earn us, because, you know, it's just sitting right there, so we might as well pick it up while we have space in our inventory. So there we go, some salmon berries that I can see around. Unfortunately, this might mean it takes us a while to get to the mines, but I would rather spend a bit of time actually collecting as many of these salmon berries around as we can possibly get them. Oh, a mushroom. Hey, that's interesting. Not even autumn and the mushrooms are spawning over here. But we will have a quick look down here. Good thing I did, because there is another bush with a salmon berry available. And we will head up to the Adventurers Guild and then pass that into the mines. So let's just see, we do have an artifact spot. So we will just quickly dig that up, and that is a library book. No other bushes available with some salmon berries that we can get. So before we head in, let's actually eat some of our foods, like the leeks. And what else? Oh, yep, the dandelion. We'll eat that as well. That takes us almost up to full energy. And okay, last time we just hit level 40. So this does mean potentially we have the soot sprites. And I'm sorry, I don't know the proper name for them. Yeah. Spirited Away was my first Studio Ghibli movie. So the moment I saw them in this, I just called them soot sprites, and it has stuck ever since. Mind you, my husband and I also do call little fuzzy black kittens soot sprites because they just look so much like them as well. And it's like, some of the pictures that you can get of little black kitties are just, oh, I find them really adorable. Like, you just see like a massive dark fur or a dark shape, and then these two tiny little kitty eyes peering out at you. They're just so adorable. So adorably cute. Okay, going to get, well, I was going to say blindsided by a soot sprite, but thankfully not. And apparently today is an exceptionally good luck day because we are getting stairs almost everywhere we defeat an enemy. So maybe here we might actually be lucky enough to get a coffee bean or two, because I know that is in the soot sprites loot box table. And I think it was also down here that we found our first ancient seed as well, or at least very close by. So those are easily dispatched, and we are almost at level 44 just off that. So that is looking very interesting. So do we have any... Yep, we have an easily accessible stairs down here, or ladder, technically speaking. More soot sprites. So we will just keep hammering away at them. Make sure we remember that they can break through rocks. We will just be careful and remember that even if we have a choke point at the moment, it may not necessarily stay that way. But we are dealing with them moderately well, so there's no issue there. And I probably actually think that not this music track, but the other one that plays down in the cold levels go. Ah, okay, that one is tracking me. Level of the Mine is like one of my most favourite tracks in the entire game that I know of. We are definitely getting the stairs fast today, which is good. I want to try and power my way through this as much as we can. Try and get down to the bottom of the mines and see what mysteries it holds. And also get some artifacts, gems, other things to donate to the museum, you know, that kind of thing. We are really storming ahead here, aren't we? Wow. Okay, I may need to take a bit of a break and eat some food because I am being a bit overwhelmed by some of these enemies. So you can take a bit of a pause, eat a couple of salmon berries and get our health back up a bit. I'm not playing any kind of challenge run where it's like, yeah, as soon as you, like, if you faint in the mines, it's game over. I'm not doing anything like that. But it's still not nice for me to have my health down low when I can avoid that situation. So we'll just have a quick dash around and see if there's anything worthwhile. Okay, that slime slimed me. Okay, there was nothing around here, so that was pointless. That just got me damaged a bit more than I wanted to. But stairs down, and yeah, we will need to probably break one of these rocks to get around. There's a bat, so we can pretty easily dispatch you and just make sure that we have that sorted. Is there anything in any of these boxes? Well, there was nothing in that first one. Let's have a look. Nope, just some rock or stone and some copper ores. Hey, sometimes what's in those boxes can be really good and other times it can be really, really disappointing. That wasn't quick enough to avoid getting slimed, but neither was I that time. They are rolling some good rolls here today, but we have a set of stairs and I will just once again peek around, see if there's anything good like a gem node. Nope, there is not, and I heard a screech of the bats, so let's get going before they get too many ideas. Try and head up here and not get completely surrounded by enemies like that, which is an unfortunate thing. So there we go, that's better. And oh my goodness, we are almost out of health. I almost didn't see that. Oh goodness. Okay, so anyway, I'll probably have to eat all of these salmon berries that we have. And I really don't want to eat the mushroom. That would only give us 17 health anyway. So this may actually end up being called off, not because we run out of time, but simply because we ran out of health. And that mist means there's loads of enemies coming across. So we will need to be careful and keep an eye on things and move out the way and dodge and jump and do everything in our power to avoid them all. Thankfully we seem to be doing okay. The slimes aren't able to get through the rocks above or below us, but we do unfortunately have more bats, and one of the slimes has become smart and we are out of health. We are out of health. Run, 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 run. Nope. Nope, run, run, out, out. I know we're at level 49, but I don't want to die. Oh no. Okay, so that was a slight disappointment. We were one level off level 50, but we had to make a tactical retreat. So one thing we did get is some refined quartz out of that. We also got a frozen tear, which we can put into the safe. No, not the safe one, the boiler room when that unlocks. So I don't think we'll be unlocking that one just yet. And we have a cutscene with Linus. So let's have a look and see what this one is about. So he's fiddling with the garbage cans. And oh, we have George has popped out of the house and he looks pretty angry. Sounds like those raccoons are back again. Filthy varmints. Ah, you turned up at the right moment, miss. Could you do an old man a favour? Could you go around the corner and scare off those raccoons for me? They've been causing a real mess. Thanks. Make sure you give them a good scare so they never come back. So George heads back in the house and I go round to see it's Linus, who looks pretty embarrassed. It was me. I'm sorry. I find a lot of hot fresh food in these cans. Stuff that will go to waste if I don't take it. Do you think there's something wrong with what I'm doing? And I have 4 options here now. Some of these are cutscenes that you get where you have an option to say something. Some of them will have an impact on a friendship and some of them will not. This is one of the ones that will have an impact. So you've got, yes, it's disgusting. No, it's a shame for food to go to waste. Yes, it's illegal. That's George's private property. Or no, but you should get a job and stop leeching off others. So at least for me, my own beliefs, the closest one is to say, no, it's a shameful food to go to waste. Thanks, Positron. I knew you were an open-minded person. I feel good about what I'm doing. I'm not harming anyone. However, he is having some regrets about rummaging around in George's one. So he says, "You can go on home. I promise I won't rummage in George's can anymore. You can tell him you scared off the raccoons for good." So I head off back home and Linus goes across to the next garbage can to investigate. And oh no, he's not having much luck. He's been caught by Gus. Wait. I know what you were doing, Linus. If you need food, just ask. I don't want anyone in Pelican Town to go hungry. Here, I've got a basket of zucchini fritters for you. Just make sure you dip them in my spicy marinara. Go on, take it. I do find it interesting because food waste is something that is not good in terms of, well, pretty much for anyone, supermarket, restaurants, or home. Admittedly, sometimes it can't be avoided, but if you have situations where you are able to donate it to someone who could use it, that is always a benefit and something to keep in mind. So that cutscene does not really seem to jive with too much of what you kind of see later on with Linus, in that he doesn't really want to accept what he sees as handouts from anyone. So taking the food from Gus, I don't know, would he see that as a handout or would he just see that as someone helping? So is there anything that we got in the mines that we can sell? Unfortunately not, but we will take that last copper bar and put everything in the chests, make sure we have some stuff organised. So we will put the bat wings in there and the geodes are all inside. So we will go in here. And okay, yes, I did misspeak because we can put 2 daffodils in to get 60 gold. So that will take us up to 2,200. And hopefully we'll be able to save a bit for the travelling merchant on Friday and Sunday, and maybe see if we can also get a rainy day so we can start upgrading our watering cans. Well, watering can, singular. And we will also probably need to keep in mind, let's have a look, clear and sunny, and fortune teller, somewhat annoyed today. So this is going to be fishing or clearing up some space. And I think probably actually what we are going to do is we will take 6 mixed seeds, plant that, hoe up a bit of ground and see if we can find any additional clay that we can use. Similarly, take some of these geodes across, see if we can also do that. Take the torch that is there because we can add that with, I'm pretty sure we had some here, but apparently not. Anyway, we can chuck that in the shipping bin and just ship one of those. A new recipe for a potted crocus, and Pierre's is finally selling some fertilizer. So we have 6 of these seeds, so we can do 2 there and 2 here, and then probably the last 2 there and there. It's not very even, but it will do. So we have more lingonberries available and another cabbage. Those ones are all watered, so we will come over here and start watering these ones. And also in a previous stream, if people weren't aware, we actually managed to find a nice little surprise. I think it was in the mines. We have ourselves an ancient seed. So we have our first ancient fruit growing there, and obviously, as you can tell, we put the sprinkler right next to it, so it will be watered every single day without us having to worry about it. So that takes 28 days to grow, and we will have our first ancient fruit after that. Then it will grow another one every 7 days, and I will probably just keep harvesting and collecting them. I won't sell them. Instead, I will use the seed maker once we have that available, create a bunch of seeds from it and plant those, most likely in the greenhouse, because I don't think we will, well, other way round, Brain, we will probably, hopefully, have the greenhouse done by then, and we can just start planting them in there and they will grow all year round. So what else did we need for those bundles that we have available? It doesn't look like there is anything there. So yes, I will go in and take the clam that we had from this section. That will enable us to put it in there. Then we can take the chub and the common mushroom and plant those. Not plant those. I'm thinking of the wrong thing because I'm looking at some of the seeds, and then from there we should be able to put in a frozen tear and a copper bar, and we have enough iron ore to create an iron bar, though we won't be able to fulfill that bundle until we have a gold bar, which is, I want to say, level 80 in the mines. But what else can we take? Well, we're going to need a regular quartz. For that we are going to also need an earth crystal, so we can take one of those each, and also an aquamarine just in case. And then what else? Okay, then we want 200 wood and 100 stone. That is good enough, and 10 hardwood, but we won't have that for a good long while. Are we looking good? I think we are. So I'll just do one swap around and we'll put our sword back and grab our fishing rod. And I think that is us all ready to go. So we will take ourselves off to the community centre to fill in, hopefully, another bundle. If I don't get caught on the bushes, that is. Okay, so we have a few more harvestables around, a couple more bushes with some salmon berries, if I can activate them and actually get the berries off the bush. So this is the kind of day I'm kind of talking about. We have bad luck, so we can't really go in the mines, but what we can do is basically do a tour of the entire map and have a look around at how the situation is going, and we can pick up some salmon berries that we can have subsequently for our next trip down into the mines. So let's see what is the help wanted. So a farm, fresh cauliflower. Marlon wants that, 525. So we did pick up a cauliflower. Unfortunately it is gold star, so we won't be getting quite as much money for that. And as we head into Pierre's, welcome to Pierre's, how can I help you? And we have, who is this? Yes, who? Ah, okay, yes, Morris. I just didn't recognise him from the back. So this is pretty much the first cutscene that you really see for JojaMart, and it kind of very much sets the mood for them. Come and get it, folks. Coupons for 50% off your purchase at JojaMart. So obviously 50% is quite an intense discount. Well, any takers? And unfortunately pretty much everyone starts swarming around him. So yes. But I can't match those prices. I'd be selling at a loss. And then of course Morris comes up to the counter. Oh, it must be so difficult for you to lose your loyal customers like that. But can you blame them? Jojo Corporation is clearly the superior choice. Soon the whole town will realise that. Not if I have anything to say about it, Morris. Of course, one thing about Stardew Valley Expanded is that it does add Morris as someone that you can get to know. But of course, if you complete the community centre in terms of obviously doing it for the community rather than going the JojaMart route, if you haven't gotten Morris to 10 hearts, you pretty much lock yourself out of seeing any of his further interactions. So there is nothing else we can sell there. So we will head up to the community centre and put a few more things into one of the bundles. Oh, obviously, as I've played this game a fair amount of times, I am aware decently of what is available for the regular bundle. So if I see or find a few things that I know are going to be needed later, I can obviously just store them in a chest and get them out when I need them, rather than some of the situations where I might be tempted, if I'm desperately hurting for money, to instead put them in or ship them off. Okay, that was not the right one we wanted, because I don't think we have anything here that we can put in. So no, it was the mushroom for the fall foraging bundle, and it was a few items for the fish tank, and then subsequently the boiler room and the bulletin board. So let's go here. Crab pot bundle, we can complete that, so that is nice. So this gives us 3 crab pots, and then let's just take a look around. Were there any others that we could put here? It doesn't look like it, but I will just check just in case. Okay, so nope, but that does. Okay, we already had the boiler room unlocked, I didn't notice that. But like I said, we have the bulletin board unlocked, and we can do a chub and a frozen geode for that. We have the dye bundle. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a red mushroom, but I did bring an aquamarine, so we can place that one in there. We have the chef's bundle, which is obviously where the poppy and fried egg we have stored is going to need to go. Water bundle, which we can't do, and enchanter's bundle we can't do because we don't have any of that stuff. So on to the next one, which is the boiler room, and we can go in here. So we want the, not the adventurer's bundle because we don't have that, we want the geologist's bundle. So a quartz, an earth crystal, and a frozen tear. So we are just missing a fire quartz to be able to complete that one. And then the blacksmith's bundle, we will need to come back for that one. But all in all, I would say that that ended up being pretty productive actually. So I think we will head up to the mountain lake, as quite a lot of fish for the fish tank are available there in spring, and we will naturally... Oh, no, I almost forgot. We wanted to come back down here and do our geodes and see if we can get any clay or anything from them, because that is a potential possibility. So let's just head down into the shop and process our geodes and see if we get lucky. So that is a petrified slime. That is marble. Yes, okay. And then these standard geodes pretty much have a much higher chance of just having standard stuff in them, like low-level ores, coal, stone, cheaper minerals. So let's just see. And anything that glitters like that I think is worth over 75 gold. So unfortunately, despite me wanting to actually have some clay in there, it doesn't look like we have any. Bit unfortunate. But let's just see if we have anything that we can donate. We indeed do. So that is the petrified slime, which goes down into the fossily areas, and then a couple more minerals that can go up there, and that looks like it for the moment. What rewards do we have? Just that standing geode, so we will ignore that. Basically, you don't have to grab those, you can just leave them be. And I think we will come back in here and just quickly sell a couple of those. So the earth crystal for 50 and the sandstone for 60. So that is that done. Just have a quick look at the stall here to see if there is anything major that we could have. He is selling a couple of coffee beans. That could be tempting. Obviously, they're kind of meant to be ones that you buy to use yourself rather than necessarily plant, but you know what? 600 gold for 2, we'll grab it, and probably try and remember to come back here and check every so often to see if they've got any more coffee beans. So down to the beach and have a look for some forageables. And oh, Elliot's actually out for once. Hello, Elliot. We're still at 0 hearts for you, and I'm pretty sure I read out your little text bit last time, so I won't do that again. We have a couple more things around here, including these sea urchins. Unfortunately, clams are pretty much the one thing that you don't appear to be able to put in fish tanks, and I'm not really of an opinion to want to mod that enough, but that looks like we have cleared out that area. So we will head back up, give Marlon that cauliflower that he wants, even though we are going to be, yeah, we're going to be sacrificing a few bits of gold for that because they pay 3 times the standard price of a normal quality one. So yeah, seems we've got a gold one that's worth a fair bit more. That's not going to be reflected in the price he is going to pay us, unfortunately. Unless, of course, Stardew Valley Expanded or something similar has changed anything, but I doubt it has. But we will quickly come back down here and grab a leek. Like I said, I spent absolutely ages looking around for them, and now they just seem to be absolutely everywhere. So there is a fishing bubble there, but I'm going to ignore that because it's probably going to be gone by the time we get back. But what I am not going to ignore is this salmon berry bush. Come on. I don't have a magnet ring of any kind, so unfortunately these are being very lax in, well, or very picky about how close I need to be to actually grab them. So, hello Marlon. You are Marlon, aren't you? Yes. Just making sure, and I'm not going to give a random wrong person this item. Hey, so you saw the bulletin I posted. I really appreciate it. Here's a little something for your trouble. So, and yes, just the standard 525 gold, but I really shouldn't complain because that is pretty much double what we would have got if we'd sold that normally anyway. So we come back down to the lake here, and obviously, as I thought, those bubbles have disappeared, but instead we will head over to the center of the island, pick up hopefully another little salmon berry, and then we can spend a few hours just sitting by and fishing here and hopefully getting a few things for the community center. So I can't remember if you do need to cast right like that or if you can just do it straight. I think we'll probably just do it straight. And now let's see if we can actually get up to level 4 fishing. I'd love it if we could get to level 5, but I don't think that's going to happen, not without some really, really good luck and seeing some bubbles appear. However, getting perfect catches is going to be a good start because you get more experience with those. So doesn't seem to be anything in my field of view in terms of bubbles. So we'll just keep on fishing here. So one thing I probably will need to do when we actually get back to our farm is build up another chest and get some recycling machines going, because I can put those crab pots that we got from as a reward from one of the bundles onto the ocean. And as I have an automation mod, I can basically stick in a bunch of bait, let the automation mod put that into the crab pots every single day. It will pull out any items that it collects, and then obviously the recycling machine will recycle any rubbish that we have. Maybe if we get lucky, or a soggy newspaper that gets picked up by one of the recycling machines, we can turn into some cloth, which will enable us to go to Emily and Haley's house, use the sewing machine there, and start creating ourselves some new clothes. Because as warm as these things look for spring, they're probably going to be a bit too hot for summer. And also, if we are going to be romancing someone, I kind of want to be able to make ourselves a fancy outfit for when we get married. because that is one thing that I've apparently picked up doing in my games whenever I've gotten married since the update which allowed the use of the sewing machine. I have been creating myself a little outfit for the day I get married in the game. Has always been nice, and no, it's not always been a pure white dress. I think the last time I did it I had a nice like dark red maroon dress which I think looked absolutely lovely. But oh, we have bubbles, and if I can actually not get stuck on some things we can go across and grab it. That is not quite far enough. There we go, that's got it. So we will just wait here for the fish to start biting. There we go. So unfortunately, because this is like barely over halfway towards our maximum casting distance, we are probably... Okay, that wasn't worth it. That was not worth it at all. So what I was saying was that because we weren't casting at the maximum potential distance, we wouldn't necessarily get some good things. So unfortunately that got us one fish and a bit of wasted time. So we will definitely get up to level 4 fishing by the end of tonight, but not level 5 annoyingly and disappointingly. Because I would have really liked to get up to level 5 because we unlock an option for getting to level 5 in a skill, and it would have been, naturally speaking, the one which enables us to sell fish for 25% more. But I don't tend to go for the other one for the trapper and crab pots because I just find that not to be as good. Plus also the rubbish that the crab pots collect can be annoying, but with something like automation, obviously we can just bypass the necessity of needing to check the crab pots and restock them with bait every single day, and we could just swing by every so often, check that we don't need to put any more bait in the box, and we can just pick up all of the fish and various things that have been processed by the recycling machines. And I am not doing too well at paying attention to the fish biting today. So my statement of being... Oh, another bubbles. And this looks like max cast distance. Yes, it is. So this might actually help us. So there we go, and we have a treasure chest, so just get that up as far as we can, grab the treasure chest, and then go back to the fish and pick that up. So the other game that I have, which is my own personal one, I've actually been starting to accidentally fish up one of the legendaries. So that's been slightly aggravating when it turns out that I have nowhere near the capabilities to be able to actually get them. So also, unfortunately, we don't have any more room in our backpack. Thankfully, I don't really want the bait that much, so we can just take the copper ore and ignore that and continue on. And of course, the bubbles disappear again just as we pick up one fish. It's slightly annoying that that happens. The game obviously randomizes where those are and how long they are going to stay around for. So you may have some that turn up at a very fortuitous moment and stay there for absolutely forever. Or, as we've just seen, you might have a couple of little pockets that stay there for like half an hour of in-game time. So one more fish if I don't miss, and that will probably get us to level 4, and we can retire this for the night. And then obviously dependent on what the weather is going to be for the 18th of spring, we may or may not be putting our watering can in to be upgraded. There we go, this is going to be our last fish of the night. So just grab the treasure chest just in case that's got anything interesting in it, like maybe a dinosaur egg. So we have a regular carp, and we have not a dinosaur egg but instead a frozen geode and some jade. So what can we get rid of for that? Oh, one easy thing is the daffodil, which is worth 30 versus the jade 200. And then the other thing, we have plenty of coal, so we don't want that. We can just grab the frozen geode. And indeed, that's taken us to level 4 in fishing. So we can close our experience bar mod and head home for the night. We'll obviously double check, because I have completely forgotten that we put some wood and stone in our backpack to be able to go to the community centre and add those to one of the bundles. And as we've just fished up a few things, we can probably put those in as well. And yes, game, I know it's getting late. Don't worry, this isn't going to take us long. It's not going to take us long at all. So over here to the fish tank. So we have the night fishing bundle, which we don't have anything there. And then the lake fishing bundle. So we have a largemouth bass. And we have a bullhead. And the sturgeon we won't be able to catch until autumn, unfortunately. Anything else? I don't think so. Oh, nope, not on that. Not in there, and definitely not in there. But let's go back down to the pantry area and put all of that wood and stone into the bundles. So there we go, the construction bundle. So 2 lots of 99 wood, 1 lot of 99 stone, and 10 hardwood whenever we manage to get that. Either if we get really lucky in the mines once again, we can find a bit more and put that towards unlocking that bundle, or we upgrade our axe and start being able to chop down the large stumps and logs on our farm. So it's gotten to 1 AM, but we will make it back to our house before 2 p or 2 AM, so we may be a bit low on energy for tomorrow, unfortunately. But nevertheless, I think we will. Well, we do have a bit of time to dump a few things in here, so we have no real use for any of these. We've already donated that chub that we had. We can donate the jade and probably donate the leeks as well, because we need the money a tiny bit more than we need anything else. And I will just have a quick look at what sea urchins are used for, because my brain is telling me they're used for something. My brain is telling me they're used for something. Okay, so they can be placed in a fish pond. We need one for the dye bundle, but they are otherwise not used in anything. So we can put the silver one in, which is worth 200. And then the clams we will obviously keep. Quickly grab the iron bar from here. It's getting 1:30. It's getting very, very late. But we can put those in there. That's a good question. Do we put the coffee beans in now? No, because that will risk us collapsing on the farm, and despite the fact that we are on the farm, it will mean that we are penalised for what we are doing. So instead we will put these things here. We will keep the sea urchin for now, as we will need to go and put that in the community centre bundle, and that looks good for now. So let's go to sleep. There we go, level 4 fishing and a recycling machine, and totaling up our money for the day. So with that, I will take a quick break, and I will see you again in a few minutes. So don't forget to hang around and make sure you keep watching for the next part of the stream. So see you in a bit. Okay, everyone, and I am back. Let's just transition back to the game. So we got not quite 1,000 gold overnight, and we will head into the next day. So let's just have a look at what the weather is when we wake up. So it is, fingers crossed, rainy weather. Yes! Yes, nice. We have the money to upgrade our watering can. We have the copper bars to upgrade, and now it is going to rain tomorrow. And the spirits feel neutral today. Okay, so we will water our plants. And then that probably means that we will be going around and harvesting wood and clearing out space on our farm. So we have a bunch of cauliflowers ready. No passion fruits ready just yet. And we will want to keep one for Jodie, as she's going to request one later. We have 4 gold star parsnips, and we have 1 in our chest. So that is fantastic. That means we have the 5 that we need for the community centre. And also, just before I forget, we should have our, yes, coffee beans right there. So we can go and plant those down. And that means that we should have some nice coffee soon. And we do also have some speed grow, so we're not cheating, we're just encouraging it. So I know that, okay, that's already fertilized because that's still got the quality fertilizer on it. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that, but never mind. That would have just meant that we had a few extra days to potentially get some more coffee beans through, but as with the ancient fruit that we have, I'm probably going to be grabbing those and not using them as coffee, but instead storing them so that when we have a greenhouse we can once again put a bunch of those in there and we can start making ourselves some coffee and triple espresso. So is that all of our plants watered? Yes, it is. Check our mail, another potted plant. That is all the mail that we have for today. Okay, so put that back, and that we'll take out our axe, and we will actually retake our watering can because I just said that we were going to go and get that upgraded. So we have our 5 copper bars as well. We have an iron ingot that we can go and send to or take to the community centre. Similarly, we've got a sea urchin that we can also take there. Do we have any more geodes in here that we need? Nope. We can put the speed grow back, however, and that all looks fine. So I will go and check my own personal quarry on this farm map. And I really need to actually get the crab pots down on the beach as well. We might do that in a moment. So, oh, good thing I had a quick check here because we do have a couple of geodes. That's nice to see. So 1 frozen geode, 1 standard geode. Anything down here? Nothing other than just rocks and a bit of copper ore. So we need a regular chest to store the items in for the crab pots, and we also need at least 1 recycling machine. So let's have a look at what those require. So the recycling machine, wood, stone, and the 1 iron bar that we have. Okay, that is not going to happen. So we also, I don't think we have any, oh no, we do have bait and we got bug meat, so we could at the very least put some of that down. So, and we need 50 wood for our chest, so we can set that up at least initially. There we go, and 50 more bait gives us 260. And we can go down to the beach, put those in, and even if it honestly just gives us a bunch of trash, it will move it into the chest thanks to the automation mod rather than it jamming up the crab pots, and I can just swing by every couple of days and check on that and see how it's going. So that is going to be nice to see. And also we obviously have a bunch of other stuff to sell, and I just completely forgot that we had a gold parsnip just still in one of our chests. So I am going to go back and get that quickly so we can fulfill that part of the community centre bundle. And I know for the quality crops thing there are 4 crop options with only 3 of them actually needed. There is our 5th parsnip, but I always like to try pushing to get the 5 gold parsnips in spring, simply because it gives you a bit more breathing room for summer and autumn. If for some reason in summer you don't get your 5 gold star melons, it doesn't matter too much, because I think the other ones, let me just have a check. So the other ones being pumpkin, which grows in the autumn, and then corn, which grows across summer and autumn. You have more time to put into getting those 2 instead, which is always nice to have a backup plan. Now, speaking of backup plans, we do need to decide, and of course, yes, it's Wednesday, so Pierre's isn't going to be open. It's slightly frustrating. And I don't actually have any wings. We've not crafted one yet. I think because we don't have... Let's see, we are level 2 combat, so the only wing we can craft... We could craft a sturdy wing, but unfortunately I've just used all of the bug meat we have, which isn't enough anyway. And I'm not quite sure we have 25 slime either. So anyway, let's just come across here, have a check at the store and see if you've got anything, because this is where we grabbed our couple of coffee beans that we just planted. So there's nothing here that we necessarily really want, at least not for the time being. It's all going to be stuff that we will probably want to stock up on once we get our kitchen, but let's just process our couple of geodes here and see if we have anything good come out of this. No, we have not. Okay, was that thunder egg something that we need to donate? Yes, it was. So before we go and do that, we will upgrade our watering can. That takes away 2,000, almost, oh, over half of our money actually. And then we will head in here, donate that thunder egg that we have. That's not given us any additional rewards, but never mind. Then come out of that, head out here, and let's go up to the community centre. And once we have that, back down to the farm, chuck all of these things into the shipping bin, as I forgot that Pierre's is closed on a Wednesday. And then we can do a bit of time at clearing out the farm. Now, I admit I do find that, at least initially, clearing out the farm can be the most tedious task ever. But it's nice to see when you actually manage to have a bit of time and you can start clearing it out a lot more. It actually starts to feel good. So also we needed the sea urchin for the dye bundle, so let's go and put that over on the bulletin board. And then, where is that dye bundle? I can never remember which one it is, but there we go. And then put the iron ingot we have into the bundle down here. So that is in the blacksmith's bundle. There we go. And actually I'll make one more change. We will go down to the beach, put our crab pots down, search for any things that we have down there, and then we will go back to the farm. I promise I do eventually remember everything I was planning on doing. It may mean we have to walk back on ourselves a few times, but I do remember what we intend to do. Don't worry about that. Okay, so Elliot's out again, so we will just quickly say hi to him, seeing as he doesn't seem to be out too much. The forest is a wonderful place. Have you been there? Yes, I have. In fact, I have been trying to get there with Stardew Valley Expanded, but I keep on getting errors when I try to go to the Cinder Sap Forest, which the Stardew Valley Expanded mod adds in. So, like I said earlier, I have tried to have a look and bug fix that myself. Unfortunately, like, while I'm okay at hunting down bugs. My capabilities on actually fixing them are non-existent. My only real option is to just point at something and go, yeah, this is broken, this is how broken it is, can you fix it? So if we put down the crab pot, we need to 1, 2, 3 there, and hopefully I don't think anyone walks around this area, so we can put that there. And there we go. Immediately the automation mod has taken over. It has taken 3 bait and put that into the crab pots, and then that will just automatically draw anything that the crab pots collect, put in more bait, and when we finally have enough resources to make some recycling machines, we can put them there, and that will start also managing the trash that the crab pots pick up as well. That will be a nice little production line. Of course, one of the mods that I did used to have installed, which I no longer do, is chests anywhere, and I'm starting to slightly feel the effects of it, even though that was quite a big and what I would consider a cheaty mod, because if I'm here or say in the mines and I run out of space, I can just open up things, scroll across to any of the chests that I have and just decide that, you know, I'm going to put all of these items in the chests that are on my farm, free up a bunch of space, sort things out, grab some food, and the space limitations are no worries. But kind of one of those things where it's like, I'm missing it, but then I'm trying to think, was it a bit too cheaty? And I honestly think it was. So if I do bring it back, I'm probably going to put some personal limits on that and do something like, say, I can check all of the chests for the farm when I'm actually on the farm, because especially with automation, if you put a bunch of things together, you can just do a few clicks and say, get all of the cheese from the barns, get all of the wool and oh, what's it called? The newspaper turns into torches or cloth. Spin the wool into cloth, or get the mayo from the mayo machines, and you kind of get the idea. So we'll just pick up those few salmon berries that we have a quick look around, because there are a few bushes in the farm area, so we can pick those up. It is annoyingly a tree growing right in the way there, but we can chop that down with no problem. And then just have a look around here. So a few more seeds would be nice, even if we have most of our tree growing area sorted out. It's still going to be a nice idea to make sure we have a decent amount of seeds in storage for emergency food, and also if we want to get any additional trees in new space that we potentially clear up when we upgrade our axe. Probably not going to be for a decent amount of time, considering how poor we are in both terms of actual money and copper resources to do so. So speaking of copper, I wonder, do we have, I think I saw we have 1 cherry bomb. Okay, so we can take that. Let's actually take the copper and coal from there, so we can use those to create a few bombs and mine out a bit of the home quarry that we have. We want a clam, and probably want to keep the sea urchin just for the time being until we can decide what we necessarily want to do with that. Everything else, except obviously the cherry bomb, coal, copper ore, is going to go into the shipping bin, and the iron ore is going to go there. So we have those resources, and like I said before, we want to keep 1 cauliflower for Jodie, but we're going to hopefully make a decent amount of money from all of those items. Put the cauliflower back into storage just before I forget. and then head up to clear out a bit of space in the quarry so that can regenerate a few new items. And fingers crossed, if the weather is good tomorrow, not good, not the weather. I was going to say not good, but no, we know what the weather is going to be. It is going to rain tomorrow. What we want is good luck so that we can go down into the mines and get a few sections of that cleared out, especially as we had to do an emergency exit as we were almost out of health. It was not fun. We were at floor 49 out of 50, and unfortunately we had to leave because I was just getting slammed by the enemies and I did not have any food left over. So maybe it will be a good idea next time to buy a few things from Gus at the saloon, just to make sure that we have some items available that aren't just salmon berries and other random forageables that we've managed to find. Or we could of course save up and try and get a house extension with a kitchen, but that is going to be a much bigger ask than just buying a few things from Gus, even if it is going to turn out to be cheaper in the long run. Well, once we have all of our production facilities set up anyway. And things, it is only 9 o'clock. I am just going to go through and clean up the entirety of this area so it is nice and clean and ready for things to start regenerating here. And then once again, check down here, hammer away at the rocks that we've got. So this area can also be cleaned up. And then we will just see what things spawn. So fingers crossed for some good luck from the spirits tomorrow, and we can go down into the mine and really start searching away there and getting deeper and deeper. So we unfortunately only have 2 salmon berries. What else do we have? Pretty much nothing else, but never mind. So rock, coal and copper into there, and I'm just doing a quick once over. We have a poppy and a fried egg we can probably take to the community centre as we go past it. And that looks like it. And also in here we are up to 25 salmon berries. So altogether, if we sold that, there would only be 125 gold. But that would be quite a lot of energy we would have. So, yep, we're good on that. Say hello to Sir Fluff. And there we go, level 4 farming. And I think that little doodle meant we have an achievement. So let's have a look at what that is in a moment. Go. And it is Greenhorn ship. Items worth 15,000, I believe that is. So the weather forecast for tomorrow is back to clear and sunny, which is fine. Fortune teller, the spirits are in good humour, yes. So living off the land, and they are telling us about rain, which we know about. So unfortunately we can't really sell the slingshot, and the sneakers are only worth 50 gold. That's probably not even worth taking it up, seeing as the Adventurers Guild doesn't open until 2 PM. But here, so like I said, we want the poppy and the fried egg. We want to put the axe back and grab our sword. And what can we take for food other than those salmon berries? Unfortunately, that looks about it, because we want to keep the cave carrots for the survival burger, keep the algae for some fish ponds. And yeah, pretty much everything that we've got here is either unusable. Oh, no, wait, we have the eggplant parmesan. I completely keep forgetting about that. That gives us +1 mining and +3 defense. So we have a recipe for a PB&J sandwich from Lewis. Like, your folks just contacted me to ask about you, and I just wanted to make sure you're eating properly. You know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? It's, well, that's it. The name is literally the whole recipe, so I'm sure you can manage that. Yeah. How old do you think I am, Lewis? We have a second garlic available, so hopefully we will be able to get some seeds off of that when we get the seed maker, which will be in a decent amount of levels, seeing as we just passed level 4. However, we have some strawberries which we can put in here, and that is actually a gold garlic. So one of the mods I have enables you to get more seeds from an item the better quality it is. So hopefully a gold garlic will give us quite a few different seed packs. So dump those items in, and that looks okay. I can see an artifact spot, so we will just see, is that okay? Yep, that is indeed something that needs to be donated. So we will head off, go past the community centre, have a quick look for forageables up here, nothing. Okay, and we will head over. So fried egg and the poppy into one of the community centre bundles. Grab some salmon berries as we go past, because even though they are only 25 energy and 11 health each, the fact that you just get so many of them is really helpful in spring, at least what I find anyway. So grab that. Are there any other? Yep, there's one right up the top. We can grab that. There we go. That is another one, and we are up to number 28. So we should be good and set for a decent amount of time. Pop into here, and it is the bulletin board bundle and the chef's one, which is right up top. So there we go, a poppy and a fried egg. So to complete that, we are going to need a mackie roll, which is either something that we find at the saloon on the recipe of the day, which is quite amusing to me because that is pretty much Gus making something to try it out, and then we're basically buying it and putting it in his help wanted option. Maple syrup, which we might be able to find from either the travelling merchant or the exotic foods stall. Fiddlehead fern, similar, and truffle maybe similar. Obviously when we get to a tapper, we can potentially start tapping a full grown maple tree and get the maple syrup that way. And of course we will also need, I think it's the oak resin for the summoner's bundle, so we will need at least 2 tappers for that anyway. And just because all of those items are used in some of the more advanced crafting options, we will pretty much need to tap quite a few trees anyway. So let's go there, and of course speaking of that, I believe, yes, it's the bee house does indeed require maple syrup. So we will want to keep an eye out for that as much as we can if we have the spare money, and try and see if we can get a couple if we can't get our trees growing at a decent rate and are able to tap the ones that we've got on our farm. So all the way up here to the Adventurers Guild, they are not going to be open for another 4.5 hours. But what we can do, go down to level 45. I am so annoyed that we got to level 49 and had to leave. That is just the most aggravating thing ever. But thankfully, we seem to be having a similar amount of good luck in terms of finding stairs, and that is a crystal fruit, a winter forageable. So we have one less that we need to worry about when it actually gets into winter. So let's just grab that coal and head down. Now, this is the song I was talking about earlier, which I said was my favourite one almost of the entire Stardew Valley soundtrack. It just sounds so peaceful and tranquil. Let's try and get that out of the way so we have a bit of space to manoeuvre and get rid of these bats. Ugh. So I've said it before, but bats are probably like in my top 5 of annoying enemies. Up there are the insects that turn into the flying ones if you don't manage to defeat them quickly enough. And then I think pretty much everyone hates those flying dragon things in Skull Cavern. I don't know anyone who likes them. But of course I have something even worse, because Stardew Valley Expanded adds in an additional area that is pretty much after Skull Cavern. So I've never really gone there because I went there once. I saw someone else go there once, and we both got absolutely slaughtered. So it's a very high level area, and you pretty much want the best equipment that you can get. And unfortunately, the fog is closing in, so that's going to mean a bunch of bats are going to be coming in. Hey there, Lion Shark. How are you doing today? How are things for you? Yep, going to get swarmed by bats, unfortunately. Thankfully, this sword is at least managing to keep up in terms of damage output. I think we get a new sword at level 50, or a new kind of weapon anyway, so hopefully that will help us out a little bit, and if not, we might be able to get some money towards a new one. About to have lunch, so having anything interesting? And sorry, I didn't mean for that to come out quite as high-pitched as it did. Okay, so we have got quite a few different enemies over here. Thankfully we're able to hide around this rock and reach most of them. There we go. Okay, coffee bean. That's a third one. So let's just get rid of this slime. And that is an amethyst up there. We do have at least one already in one of the chests on our farm, but I will grab it again anyway. Oh, ham, cheese and crisp sandwich. Is that what I think it is? Like, obviously, sandwich, layer of ham, layer of cheese, and then some chips on that top of that as well, and a bowl of Doritos. What flavour Doritos? Are you one that goes for like the ranch, nice and cool, or do you go for the extra spicy ones? Yeah, for myself, my lunch was oh, fairly average, I would say. Toast, cream cheese, a like snack pot of nuts and a couple of things. Okay, yep, ham and cheese with Lay's chips on top. Yeah, my husband does a similar thing where he has a sandwich and then he puts crisps inside of it. And nacho cheese Doritos. Okay, you go for a classic. So, aside from obviously checking up and catching up on the stream, do you have any other plans for the day? Hey, where are these stairs on this? We're level 47. Thankfully, it's not quite 4 p.m. We're going to have time to come through this, but maybe I should have bought some bombs and made sure that we could blow a few bits up. Well, I can't necessarily say I disagree with you there. I have had a few chip sandwiches in my time, but I kind of prefer to keep the flavour and crunch separately personally. But there is a huge advertising thing over in the UK at the moment where it's basically Walkers or Lay's, I think is the brand in the US. And it's kind of like people going, well, it's like you've got some people adding chips to their sandwiches and then other people just looking like intensely horrified. And I mean, one of them is a woman with her husband sitting down at a nice restaurant and having afternoon tea, and he's just there pouring chips into his sandwich and making these horrible crunching noises in front of everyone. It's kind of like, yeah, kind of a place to be a bit more elegant in my opinion. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Walkers, Lay's, both owned by Frito-Lay, which is owned by PepsiCo. Yep, one of those things where it's like 7 companies own like the majority of brands. And it's like I've seen that infographic a lot of times, but it's kind of like, yeah, Disney owns obviously Marvel, Star Wars, Fox, ABC. I'm pretty sure they own a news network as well, and then PepsiCo with all of their food companies and Coca-Cola with all of theirs. And it is just, intense. Yeah, we have SO in the UK. So it's just all either rebranding for different markets or the big parent company buying up the individual ones from the different countries and just keeping the names the same for those territories, because there's not much point in changing a name and ruining any kind of familiarity people have with that item, company, you know, whatever you want to really call it. So let's just go through these slimes. I wouldn't necessarily do this if we already had stairs, but there is a box here, and I'm hoping that this has a little bit of something that's worth all of this effort in it. So let's see. Nope, 2 pieces of coal. That was not worth it. So we've reached level 50 before I realised it. And no, it is not a sword, it is instead tundra boots. However, they have 2 defense and 1 immunity compared to our 1 defense and 1 immunity. I will be keeping the boots because I just prefer the look of those. And then I think we will continue down and just see how far we can go. Line shark. I think it's because regulations differ by country, so giving a unique name for foreigners makes distinction easier. Yeah, that might be the case. Oh gosh, these slimes today. Okay, we will retreat and start attacking them again. Okay, there we go. That's them dealt with. And so it may have obviously been a regulations thing that you're talking about, but in the UK we did have a fair bit around the late 1990s, early 2000s, where quite a lot of like our foods and cleaning products ended up changing names. Some of them, even though the backlash was there, they still were or had their names changed, and then some of them backlash was so severe that they went, it's like, okay, sorry, we'll change it back. We didn't know you liked it that much. So I think that was obviously because the EU kind of has or tries to have unified regulations. It would have been easier for people to recognize products from different countries if they obviously all had the same names. But anyway, I think regulation talk is well, I wouldn't say not necessarily part or belonging to this stream, because obviously it is just something to chat about. And yes, I heard that Aunt Jemima was going to change their name. I didn't realise that they'd already done it. We don't have Aunt Jemima here in the UK, but we do have Uncle Ben's, and I'm waiting for that to be rebranded and see what name it comes up as, because either for me it's something that's never come up, or we never had it in the UK. But I heard that like the phrasing of aunt and uncle for like black or African American people was quite troublesome, hence why they're changing all of the names. But that's not something that either I was aware of in the UK or potentially never even happened here. But you know, they're changing their name, they're recognizing that some people don't have great opinions of that, so I'm sure it obviously all makes business sense to them. So anyway, I did ask, did you have anything interesting planned for the rest of the day? Yeah, definitely very iffy history in South with segregation, civil war, and all of those things. I mean, not exactly like we were much better with slavery, but still. I will have a few berries here. It is actually almost midnight in the game, so I think we might try and push for 2 more levels and see if we can get down there. So let's go. I did hear some bats, so let's just hope we can uncover those stairs pretty quickly. Fortunately it does that. It's no worries. I thought you may have missed it anyway, so I just repeated it. You've got a draft for a school journalism article done today, so that's the highlight. Oh, congratulations on that, being very productive. How long was that paper that you needed to write? And did you have a set topic, or could you choose one either from a list or just from a general subjects? There we go, there's the stairs finally. And oh my goodness, we have a lot of enemies here, so this might be iffy. This is probably going to be very iffy. We don't have enough time, I don't think, which is going to be annoying. We are going to be avoiding... unless I can see some stairs immediately, I think we're going to have to bug out again. No, no stairs, no stairs, no stairs. Nope, I think we're going to have to go, and we are going to collapse on the way back to the farm, which is going to be unfortunate. We are going to lose a bunch of money, but hopefully we are going to be okay. So paper was as long as it needs to be, no min or max, but it's about my school assistant principal's retirement. Okay, makes sense. So obviously, yeah, pretty much as long as it needs to be, however much detail you are able to find and fit into that. And yep, there we go, we are collapsing there. So that we did manage to reach level 3 combat and level 4 mining, and now we finally have the glowstone ring as an option. And we also gained 11,000 gold overnight, but we will need to see how much of that we lost by collapsing in the middle of the town. And my watering can is ready, so we will just check the weather. Going to be clear and sunny. I misclicked on that. We meant to go to the fortune teller. So the spirits are neutral today. Lion Shark, I think I have too much info noted, but that's the goal. Well, to be honest, with something like that, you want more detail because then you're able to have a look around and figure out what parts you can cut out, like which parts aren't really necessary for the overall flow of the article and which parts just kind of feel a bit like kind of snippets of things of interest that can probably be excised. So anyway, we've got an additional 500 gold just because our dad apparently found it in an envelope with some money that Grandpa left for us, and we lost 360 gold because of our collapse. And there we go, there is Jodie's quest for a cauliflower, so thankfully we thought ahead and we have that stored away, and we have also some lovely passion fruits ready to harvest. So we will quickly put things back into our chest. This was the first round that I actually did video interviews instead of email, so I have many pages of notes from 4 interviews. Well, sounds good to me, and I mean that honestly and genuinely. It sounds like you were able to obviously get quite a lot of information from people and be able to get a bunch of notes down for what you needed for the article. Were you able to actually record those interviews, or was it pretty much a if you don't get the information you want during the interview itself, you're a bit stuck? So as we are probably going to be clearing the farm or doing a bit of fishing, we can put that away. We want to keep that for when we are going down the mines. Similarly, the leather boots, we will just keep that in storage for now. We can take the chicken statue over to the museum and probably crack open that geode, and also this dwarf scroll which we managed to pick up. So okay, you did have recordings, you just took notes so I didn't have to rewatch. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, you pretty much do it one way or the other. Either make sure you have notes down that you can recall so you don't have to rewatch things, or you're absolutely fine rewatching things and trying to find the little segment that you want. So we don't have any other geodes in here. I will go up and check our quarry, and I am honestly very surprised we have not had Demetrius come by and ask if we want to turn our cave into something. So I was going to actually ask people on that whether we were going to take the fruit bats or the mushrooms, because I have a very strong preference for one over the other, but I wanted to be curious about what other people would say about it. So Line Shark, if you have an opinion about which one we should go for, I'll hear it. I skimmed through the main one at 1.5 speed, so I was able to get down things I missed. Yeah, that's why I asked if you had recordings, just in case you felt that you missed something and you could go back to them. I admittedly have a slight issue where if I'm not watching something like at least at 1.5 speed, I kind of get bored and get distracted. And then my husband comes over, sees me like watching, say, one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies at 1.5 speed, and he just shakes his head at me. So if you've not really played Stardew Valley before, at some point in early spring, one of the people in Stardew Valley comes up to you and asks that they want to use the farm cave, which we come through here to get to the quarry, as one of 2 options for a bit of local research. So you have an option to turn it into a mushroom farm, which every few days produces, I think it's 6 mushrooms in the unmodded game, because for the unmodded game it's just this size. We have that section as well. And it like gives you about 6 mushrooms a day, I think. Or we can go for the fruit bats, which give you random fruit each, well, not each day, but every so often. So which option do you have a preference for, Lion Shark? Because I am just generally interested to know. How good is my community centre mastery? Well, this is probably a bit telling, but I do tend to go for the fruit bats simply because I find it helps me complete the community centre, because obviously the options that you get for the fruit are completely random, but I've been able to complete at least that one. Oh my goodness. Okay, 22 messages. What happened there? Don't worry, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Oh goodness. It's kind of okay. So if you just sent that message, how on earth did it detect and delete 22 messages? Oh my goodness. Okay, apparently it decided to delete everything that you said. Okay, I am going to have to spend a bit of time reconfiguring that. I apologise. It seems to have just deleted your entire chat history. Yes, I haven't configured it completely because I have been very lucky in that people have not been spamming. So, like a few things, it just needs a bit of tweaking. Yes, definitely needs a bit of tweaking. Okay, I think I will probably put a note down to configure that ahead of my next stream on Friday, because I do not want the entirety of people's chats disappearing. So anyway, yes, I go for the fruit bats because it helps me complete the community centre a lot earlier. So let's just see, do we have anything interesting that we can grab here? Nope. So we will go over to Clint and break open our single geode. See if there's anything interesting in there. Obviously get our copper watering can. So we can... Oh no, actually we have 3 geodes, or 3 frozen geodes. I didn't notice that. So we have a couple of things. I know we've donated marble. And we have not donated some esperite, so we will go and do that. And then we will probably just chuck the marble in the shipping bin. So let's... Here we go. Yeah, I was wondering because I know you have cities skylines on the Switch, so I was wondering if you had access to Stardew Valley on any other system. And yeah, I honestly prefer the cave bats. I have done the mushrooms a couple of times before, but because it's, well, it's useful for the healing, not healing potions, but the other I can't remember what it's called. Do we actually have access to it? Doesn't look like it, because obviously if you have the mushrooms, you can get the items for some of the healing items. And then that obviously helps you if you're having like a really deep dive into Skull Cavern or something. But I find, so let me just gather my thoughts for a moment. So the fruit bats are probably much better for quick progression of the community centre, but the mushroom cave has a slight benefit for the long-term stuff of health potions if you remember to store things rather than just selling them all. And you know what? It's no problem that you buy things on sale. I have a decent job, an absolutely amazing computer system set up, but I buy things on sale as well. I can't actually remember the last thing I bought full price. The last thing I bought on release was the Nemesis expansion for Stellaris. So 100 gram to any fishing enthusiast who catches 2 chub. Now I won't bother with that. The last thing I bought on release day was the Nemesis expansion for Stellaris. But even that was discounted. The reason I bought it was because I found it at a discount. And before that, gosh, I can't even remember. I can remember the last like full game I pre-ordered. It was the third game I think I had ever pre-ordered in my life. Got so disappointed with it, and I just went, nope, I'm not bothering with that again. So we have some newspapers we can recycle and hopefully maybe get some cloth out of that. Other items that we have, probably chuck all of these into sell. When it was on sale, I was after my governor made the online tax 6.35% to match the sales tax. Online used to be 1%, and that was painful, but you got to do what you must. Oof. Yes, that is a huge increase. Yeah, but you say it's much worse in Europe. It's kind of one of the things that we are used to, and I know that sounds really bad, but or our sales tax technically is, I think it's 20%. Okay, I think I'm gonna take a couple of minutes out and actually reconfigure that bot, because that just seems to be coming back to things. So let's mod tools and I will just go for that. So no, I don't want to purge messages. Yes, our sales tax, or we call it VAT, value added tax. Okay, so minimum amount of caps at 5 and maximum is at 50 and max percentage. So you're definitely tripping this. You're doing more than 5 capital letters. And the thing is, I think because you're doing it as a complete capitalized word, so I think I will actually put it up to 100. Yes. So anyway, this should, let's put that up to 15 actually, and a timeout for 5 seconds. So okay, let's try that. So that should just now do a timeout for 5 seconds. But unless you go over 15 letters. Yes, yes, that is a good argument. You are stress testing the bot, indeed. So anyway, you should be able to put in at least up to 15 letters, capital letters, before the system triggers, and it should also allow you to have your entire message as capital letters. Yep, there we go. So okay, it's now working, and even if you do trigger it, you are going to be timed out for 5 seconds. Yes, so I was saying about that. So okay. Symbol protection, that's also what's triggering it as well. Yes, I'm sorry. honestly, I am. I'm going through this and I am setting all of those. So link protection is okay. So I will set that for and just do a few more things. So word protection, that is just on the default option. Yes. Okay, so and let's see, 280. I will actually put that up to 500 because that is apparently the maximum. And time that out. So I'm just making sure that obviously we have options where it doesn't completely purge everything you've been saying, but still allows a fair amount of leeway. Yeah, you can go ahead and test it. I think I have set all of the options and I can turn back to the game for now. But yes, it was unintentional, but thank you for helping me to test that. So yes, indeed. So that is now safe. Thank you for that. So yes, 15 to 20% is like what we would consider the general sales tax rate for Europe. I think some countries in the Nordics go higher than that, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Here in the UK, it used to be 17.5%, and then it was reduced to 15% for a few years. Yes, indeed. I'm glad of that fact. Someone tolerant, someone patient, someone understanding. So yes, again, thank you for that. But anyway, then our government pushed it down to 15% for a few years to try and stimulate the economy, and then it got hiked up to 20%. And that is pretty much regardless of whether you buy it online or physically. Though, of course, there are some arguments about all of the online shops because they don't necessarily pay the business tax that the local bricks and mortar stores do. So, swings and roundabouts. But the one thing I definitely prefer for the UK is that we do actually have the sales tax on the ticket pricing. So what you see is what you pay, rather than the situation in the US where sometimes you don't necessarily know the exact amount you're going to pay until you actually get to the checkouts, which stung me once a little bit when we were in New York. But I think it was we were getting something from the Statue of Liberty tourist shop, and the ticket price I think said it was like $5 or $6, and then it ended up being like $7.20. Of course, this was back when we were still carrying physical money with us, so we had to scramble in our pockets for the bit of extra change. But yeah, lesson learned, and we now pretty much pay by card, so that is no longer an issue for us. Yeah, you can get a carrot for sticker price, but a can of carrots and you pay 6.35%. Yeah, or there are some items that we have in the UK that are like reduced value or 0%. Like for instance, children's clothes and children's shoes are not taxed at all. Physical books are not, but digital or ebooks are/were. I think they've changed it now so they are VAT exempt again. But yeah, that can lead to some interesting scenarios where, say, someone I know has rather small feet, so they end up pretty much shopping in the kids section because all of the adult stuff is too big. So they end up managing to avoid paying tax for that simply because of something they cannot control. Oh, so you have a a bottle deposit scheme in your state/county then. We don't have anything like that. We've had some people kind of come through and offer it as an option, but there's always a bit of not backlash to it, just general apathy to it. But at least where I live in the UK, we've got some pretty good at doorstep or curbside. Okay, hence why I said state/county, because I didn't quite know. I know some states obviously do, some states don't. Insert the joke about you being 50 countries under one unified governance. Because I've heard that a couple of times. But yeah, 50 states, all pretty much with your own areas. So CT, that's Connecticut and Rhode Island. Is that because those states are pretty small in the grand scheme of things, or is it just something that your states decided to do? And so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so it's like we have some pretty good curbside pickup things. About the only thing that I can't recycle where I currently live is food wastage, but they are working on that. So given that I live in an apartment complex, I'm not 100% sure I'd really want to wander down into the bin store when we start getting food waste collections done. It smells bad enough as it is. So anyway, that's cleared that up for today. I completely forgot to put the crystal fruit in the community centre, but we will do that another day. So I think the size and the way New England was, smaller areas lacked power in the early years, so states were more powerful. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I can understand that. So we are into day 20 of spring. We are, well, I would say powering through, but this has not even been an in-game week. So weather sunny again tomorrow. Spirits are somewhat annoyed, so that is going to be another day of, I think we may go fishing, and we'll probably go fishing down in the ocean. So we have all of our crops, and we can start watering that a little bit more efficiently now we have our water can upgraded. So there we go, some more lingam berries, so that gives us a tiny bit more money. So if I remember to water the right spaces, that would be good. America, Secretary of State, people, which state? Yes. Yeah, it can get quite confusing with all of that. I think there was something I was trying to explain to my husband about the US states once, and it just did not make sense, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. You know, no matter, not that urgent. So we have our tree farm down here, and it is looking pretty okay. We've got some of the trees growing, though it looks like it's still going to be a while before some of them are really available to be tapped. And unfortunately, it is Saturday, so I completely forgot to have a look at the travelling merchant, unless I did somehow actually remember, but forget that I went down there. Like the United States are a state, who would have thought? So, what are we going to do today? I think we are indeed going to go down to the beach and do some fishing. We need a bit of seaweed for a fish pond anyway, and we have a couple of items for the community centre that we need to catch. Let's just put those back in there. We have all of our salmon berries that we can obviously snack on. Probably see if Willie's available in the shop. Though it's Saturday and it's not raining, so he will not be in the shop if I recall, so that's going to be slightly unfortunate. But we can toss the lingam berries at Pierre as we go by. Check the crab pots for a few more things. See if we've caught anything decent there, and then probably spend the rest of the day fishing and No, I don't live in the United States. I live in the UK, actually. Unless, of course, you are completely joking with that and just making another joke on the whole Secretary of State thing. Oh, sorry. Yes, you were making a joke. I've just reread your comment and I've realised that you repeated. Like, okay, yes. Which state of the United States do you live in? Are they doing a state of the state address? Yes, okay. I just got that. Oh, okay, so we have another newspaper, a clam, and some driftwood. Yeah, don't worry. Sometimes it just takes me a moment to realise a joke. Or just out of interest, is Connecticut your home state? And is it somewhere that you want to uh, look for a job, or are you wanting to move to a different state for that? And if so, any ideas? Just out of curiosity, really. Like, we're obsessed with states and freedom. Well, can't argue with that there. Let's just see if we can catch anything decent. Yes, if I wasn't too slow on the draw for that. So we're way too far off level 5 of fishing, so we're not going to get that today. And I'm starting to feel, unfortunately, a bit achy. I have no idea if that's because of my posture or because of the COVID-19 vaccine I had earlier today. So let's just catch this, see how things, what we have. So sardine, is that actually what we need? Yep, it is one we need for the community centre, okay. So we should pretty much be okay here unless I manage to get my hands on the legendary fish, because that is a nightmare when I'm this slow. So you've lived in Connecticut all your life, same town and address. Alright, pretty expensive, government annoying, and you'd want to move to New Hampshire. Yeah, fair, makes sense. So I can understand the pretty expensive thing. I was born in London myself, in like, or quite close to one of the much wealthier suburbs, and the house prices there are just extortionate. So moved out of the city a little bit, but still close enough that I can go in to visit. But yeah, we're still in the general southeast area, and things are still expensive here. New Hampshire university's a mess. Southern part of the northeast is better for starting off a career. So southern parts, so you're talking about closer to like New York, New Jersey, that kind of area, or a bit further up than that. And obviously for the UK/England, you've obviously heard of the two best universities that we have, Oxford and Cambridge, and probably also heard about their little rivalry as well. Of course, in so you'd want to study in Massachusetts, Connecticut, or New York? Yeah, makes sense. Any ideas what you'd want to major in? Like anything particular, or would you like take a few classes and figure it out and declare your major a bit later? Because I know that's one thing you can do in the US, which is just completely baffling to me. Oh, okay, my game just froze there and I almost lost the fish. Okay, New Jersey, too expensive, too trashy. Yes, I've heard that stereotype before. New Jersey is kind of like the American equivalent of Essex, which is here. Essex is to the east of London, and if you've watched any reality TV shows, you probably heard of The Only Way is Essex. Oh, you want to study communications? That sounds interesting. Okay, so, well, I said we wanted to get a bunch of seaweed for our fish ponds, and we are doing that very nicely, even if it is to the detriment of everything else that I have. Okay, so 2:30 p.m. We should actually. There is an Essex, Connecticut here. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Most of the or more well-known places in the US seem to be named after European towns and whatnot. Best known for steam trains. That's an interesting little fact to know. But yeah, gosh, which one was it? Oh yeah, I remember writing a fic quite a while ago where I used the fact that there is a Paris in Texas as a bit of a punchline of a joke. And partly I only put that in because I was intending the story that I was writing to be a short, quick one, but it was getting almost to 4,000 words, and I just decided, okay, if I include this in and they actually go to Paris, France, this fic is going to balloon. So I am just going to make a joke about Paris in Texas and cut it off here. That was just getting absolutely ridiculous. Okay, and we have some bubbles here. Let's see if that gives us anything interesting. Well, we've got a treasure chest, at least for the current time. So we've got an anchovy, and what's in the chest? Some wood and a geode. Not much, not too amazing, but who knows, the geode might actually have something good in it for once. And yeah, you're the same way, you write way more than needed. Well, like I said earlier, it's better to write more than you need and be able to cut it down to a more appropriate amount than to not have enough and struggle to get to the required amount that you want. But yeah, unless I found that unless I do like a 1 or 2 scene deliberately short story, anything that I plan to do just ends up being way over what I estimate it to be. Yeah, my shoulders are definitely aching more than they are usually, so I think I'm probably going to finish this once we get to the end of today. And hopefully, though that means we have the bubbles that are still here, we should be able to get a good amount of fish in and get a good amount of money and maybe go for a house upgrade next stream. But I made 2 short articles one round and they probably could have passed as full length ones. Yeah, I feel that. It's like, or before I kind of started writing like fic and fan fiction, I used to like really hate doing essays for English and like trying to hit a word goal. But then I started like writing actual fic and participating in NaNoWriMo, which is 50,000 words in the month of November. Okay, yep. Sure, I should hopefully still be here when you get back. So we'll just go through this and hopefully catch a few more fish. We're starting to get exhausted, but at the very least we could probably sacrifice 1 or 2 fish to keep going for a bit longer, especially if they're going to be cheap little ones like the sardine or anchovies. So which ones do we have? Probably want to avoid eating the gold star, platinum, not platinum, iridium. So regular anchovy. Why am I doing this? We've got a bunch of salmon berries. So if we quickly eat some of those up, we can fulfill that. And hopefully we will still have the bubbles here for a while. So let's just keep going through, probably go down till we have 6 left. That looks like it will be okay. So there we go. And the last one, the bubbles are still just about there. And we can cast our line at least once more. So there we go. Another fish. And another treasure chest. Okay, there we go. Perfect catch. Which is always nice to see. And what do we get? A skeletal tail. Okay. Another artifact that we can donate to the museum. A missed fish bite. Hopefully we can rectify that. There we go. This one's being a little bit more adventurous, but not by much. And I say that and they head down to the bottom, just out of reach. So that is unfortunately not a perfect catch. More seaweed. Oh yes, these bubbles are being very effective for today. That is always nice to see, and I think probably after our house upgrade, my next option, I think we may upgrade our fishing rod and start getting some bait in. I just forget how many fish you get when you actually get a good fishing spot, either with the bubbles or because you are using some decent bait. And okay, actually, do we go for a new fishing rod slash wait for the iridium rod, or do we decide to spend the 10,000 on the final upgrade of the backpack? I'm actually not sure. So I will say I definitely want to get the house upgrade first. There's probably no rush really for the chicken coop or a barn. Once we have the house, we can start potentially cooking and making our own food. So we have the energy and health resupplies that we have, which will benefit us again in the long run. And obviously, as I have a cooking mod or cooking quality mod, that also means that the more we cook, the more our skill in that will go up and the better quality the food will be. Hey there, welcome back. So yeah, like I was saying, writing with NaNoWriMo or NaNoWriMo. So, and that is 50,000, a challenge of writing 50,000 words in the month of November. So not quite 1,700 words a day. And surprisingly enough, when I actually started doing that, minimum word limits on essays just never seem to be an issue again. I'm not sure if that's because I was aware of how much like 500 words was, approximately a page, or if I just got really, really good at putting essays full of not useless information, but like being able to bulk things out and explain things a bit more. Okay, so whoops. Okay, we should be able to get that fish fine. There we go. And in our treasure chest we have 20 bait. So we get rid of the pine cone and take that. That should be reasonable, and we could probably keep fishing a tiny bit more. So we obviously didn't get around to going to the museum because I got distracted at the beach, but never mind that. Oh, okay. So let's just see. I think we will swing by the community centre and put some of these fish in before I forget. Before the end of the day. And then we will turn in 1,700 words sounds like a ton for one day. If you put your mind to it and get in a rhythm, anything is easy. Yes, depending on obviously your writing speed, it can take a while. But I did manage to get to the point where, admittedly, it does require a lot of planning on my part and essentially having a first draft already written. But if I have the outline done and I know what's all going to happen, I can sit down and I can write 2,000 words in an hour. So I could do a strong writing session on like a Saturday or Sunday, turn out 10,000 words on that one day, and I'd be pretty golden. It actually got to the point, I think my record for completing 50,000 words was 10 days. So 5,000 words a day. But like I said, I just had a good format and schedule down to be able to do that. It's one of those things like I've got quite a lot of spare time and opportunity to stream, whereas other people have to be more careful about planning and scheduling their, maybe 2 to 5 hours a week. So it's just you work with what you've got and you learn what works for you, pretty much. So we'll head up and grab that treasure chest and come back down and get the fish. So I wouldn't necessarily say I've been showing off my skill with fishing, but I've obviously been doing fairly decently at it. How is the fishing on the Android version of this game? Because I've only got this on PC for myself, and aside from being able to use a mouse, there are also numerous options to have mods so you can reduce the difficulty of fishing, though obviously we also have the training mod that I think was introduced in, was it 1.4 or 1.5? It must be 1.4. I haven't actually played 1.5 that much. That is a iridium quality anchovy, so we'll get rid of some wood for that. And it's actually creeping up on midnight, so I think we will see if we can get one more fish, and if not, we will call it a day. That's not a fish, but never mind. We will chuck that in the bin, and we will drop off some fish at the community centre instead. Yeah, okay, I think I'm really starting to feel the effects of this vaccine now, because my shoulders definitely do not ache this much normally. Oh. Yes, we do the 24-hour clock over in the UK. It's pretty common and pretty standard. Not sure really what else to say about it. Yeah, it's used for pretty much everything, like TV programming, booking in for items or anything. So let's go over to our fish and our ocean fish bundle. So we want the lowest quality sardine we have, which is a gold quality one. And so tuna, red snapper, and tilapia. Not a fan of the 24-hour clock. Yeah, well, again, I can understand that, because obviously if you've not really grown up with it, it can be a bit weird, because it just doesn't seem to make sense to take 12 hours away from something to get to get its PM time. So there's nothing else we can donate. Okay, so that can all go in our shipping bin, and that should give us a good chunk of money. And I will take a moment out while we get into bed and the game saves, just to check what the house upgrade requires. So Clint is looking for 25 copper ores. I will just ignore that. Yeah, I thought so, yeah. If you've not grown up with it, it's something that's a little bit of a mind screw, but mind you, speaking of mind screws, the like older generation in the UK uses stone and pounds for body weight. So when someone like asks my weight, I give it in kilograms. They ask what that is in stone, and I just go, I have no idea. But it just basically got to the point, because my parents had grown up with like all the imperial systems, and then I grew up with all the metric systems. I essentially grew up being able to convert mostly between those two different systems. So I'm aware that obviously an inch is 2.5 centimeters. 3 feet is approximately like 91 centimeters, and all of that. Yeah, stones is something like, it's 14 pounds to a stone. And the thing is, why 14? The only thing I can think of is because an ounce is 28 grams, which is obviously double 14. And then you get into like 56 and whatnot. But then other things don't stop making sense there, and I don't think about it. I just don't think about it. It just confuses my brain too much, because obviously all of the imperial measurements do have like logic and reason behind them, even if it doesn't look like. mostly because of options for division. So we will head to sleep for the night. Oh, we actually did reach level 5 of fishing, but I did say that we were going to have a look at the house upgrades on the Wikipedia. So 10,000 gold and 450 wood. So we will obviously go for fish are worth 25% more. And then, okay, so that is 8,500, I think. So one more day and we should be able to do that. And we will just quickly, yep, 8,541, almost exact. And we have 345 bits of wood. So we will need to clean up a bit more of the trees around our farm and whatnot, but we should be in a good position to finish up here. And good timing, it is just hit 9 p.m. Which vaccine did you get? I got the Pfizer Biotech one, so the mRNA one. My clinic basically texted me and said, like, we're going to have some leftover. If you want to have this vaccine, please book yourself in and turn up at the appointed time. If they hadn't had any excess or I hadn't booked it in, I probably would have got the Oxford AstraZeneca one, simply because that seems to be the more accessible one here in the UK, but, well, I admit there's still no clinical evidence stating that the Oxford AstraZeneca and whichever one it is that is the other modified virus that actually does have a very rare side effect of blood clots, but it was recommended by the UK Health Agency that anyone under the age of 40 get the Pfizer Biotech one anyway, so I probably would have got that one regardless. And you finished so you got your second vaccine dose all well and done then. That sounds good. That sounds very efficient. So I know I was hearing that obviously where I am in the UK, hearing like different people getting their vaccines at different times, and then I'm hearing people in like California getting their vaccine jab when they're in like their early 20s, like a month and a half ago. But anyway, so I will exit this to the title screen, and I think I will leave the music running just for now. So from experience of both myself and my dad's boss, may not feel good tomorrow, but sleep at the first sign of symptoms, sweat it out and feel better for sure the next day. Yeah, that was what I was hoping. I thankfully tomorrow I have no responsibilities at all, so if I do turn out to be fairly poorly from all of this, I can indeed just spend the day in bed and then be well and good for a new stream again on Friday. But yes, thank you for that advice. It is very much appreciated. So yeah, when I saw that the vaccination clinic was on Wednesday, I did kind of go, it's like, oh good, so I can have it, kind of come back home and obviously work through a few of the early symptoms Wednesday evening. Thursday I can completely crash out and it doesn't matter, and then I should be better on, or at least getting towards being better on Friday. But yes, thank you very much for popping into chat, Line Shark, and I hope you've found all of these streams interesting, though I seem to have noticed a pattern. You seem to be very interested in all of the modded and full DLC versions of the games that I have. But being serious, if there are actually any games that you are interested in seeing me play, I can't guarantee that I have them or would be interested in them, but I am open to options and suggestions just in case. I'm obviously mostly focused on, like I say in my bio, strategy, simulation and indie games. And I have also managed to identify that apparently I really like games that have an S word in the title as well. But yeah, we shall just see how things progress on this. So any suggestions for games from you, Lion Shark, I will take into consideration. And that also includes any other people in the chat or watching this after the fact. Don't think I share those interests, so can't make any suggestions, which is absolutely fair. I have a list of my own anyway, and we might be rotating through a fair few regardless. But I think I will probably end the stream here for today. Thank you very much everyone for watching. Thank you Lion Shark for popping in for a chat, and I will see everyone again for my next stream on Friday. And let me just actually check the time because I did change up my schedule, so let me just have a look. So here we are, and schedule. So the next one is going to be at 1 PM GMT time, and it is going to be The Sims 2. So that is going to be yet another modded game, and that also has some own personal game rules for it. Lion Shark, yep, I am perfectly willing to do a raid. Just point me towards the person and I will figure out where to do that. So no worries, I'll just do it from the stream manager. A friend of yours went live? Yep, sure, just point me towards their profile. So, yep, Princess Bunbun V. Okay, I will have a look at them. Okay, yep, got their profile up and they are indeed streaming. So let me just set up a raid. Oh, and they are streaming Minecraft, so there you go. Hopefully that has now popped through. That is my first official raid. So there you go. Hope you enjoy that. So there we go. Raid now. And I will say thank you very much to everyone and goodbye for now. Bye bye everyone.